I just kick kids out if it's an inappropriate name. I know we have teachers who tell them like can only be your first or last name, or your last name, whatever. I like to give the kids the chance if you want to put a little nickname in there, that's fine as long as it's appropriate. And then again, the only other disadvantage is that you can't really collect data from it. You're not really collecting, okay, these kids all got this question wrong. You can kind of hear some of the kids like, oh, I got that one wrong. And you can see, like it showed us, 10 people got it right, 10 people got it wrong. So maybe that's a question you can go back and address as you're writing down. But it's not something you can just go reflect and then get that data.
There's a way to set it, because I know that like after I've done it all, it'll be like display the top 5 and like the winner. And then there's like a see result button, and I can download what each person got on each question.
So I haven't seen that yet, but that's a good point to make. I know where you can, like you said, you can see like the top 5 kids.
It downloads it in like an Excel file.
Okay, so that's good to know. So you can address those questions. Maybe there's a certain question that like a lot of the kids were getting wrong, so that maybe you can go back and maybe it was worded weird or whatever, and then you guys can go back and look at it. Do you guys have any questions with Kahoot or anything else you guys want to share that I didn't share?
Yeah, kids can do ghost mode now.
Yeah.
It's obnoxious.
You want to explain that like a little
Yeah,
more?
so there's an extension, and then they can also just do it online with other tabs where they log in as a ghost. And instead of having 22 kids, you now have 117 kids in there. And so since it's time and you're waiting for everyone to click the right answer, now you have to wait for 117 kids to answer the question, but it's really the ghosts doing it. And so at that point, we're done.
So are those kids from other classes coming
Nope,
in, or
it's
just
all
random?
random
It's just
in
the computer.
class.
Okay.
Yep, they're doing it on their Chromebooks and logging in more times as a ghost.
I've actually seen that before.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Because
So you have to like get them to
really want
close
to
out the
play,
tab, and you got to figure out who it is in your class.
and you
But it
can't.
only took like one kid to figure it out in the whole school.
Mhm.
And you can't see it like on a Hapar or anything like that, so that makes it even more difficult, and then it just ruins it for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Middle school.
But it's great.
Middle
It's
school,
really
yeah.
They've done it at the high school. I've heard before.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna do Socrative. So Socrative is similar to Kahoot. You can build exit slips, you can play games. Does anybody use Socrative? Okay. I find it easiest for my students to use this on their phones. There's an app they can download. It takes them right to the first step, which is logging in to your classroom. So you have to, when you sign up as a teacher, and I'll just kind of show you how to do that. You got to create a classroom name. But you can do quizzes, you can do exit slips. Students, yes, can still use aliases. So I always have set the same rule: first name, last name. It can be something fun, at least as long as I know what that nickname is. But what I like about Socrative is it creates your reports a lot, I think a lot easier than Kahoot does. And you can see those results in real time. And so as my students are taking a quiz, I can see which questions they're getting wrong, which ones they're getting right, and what percentage of the students are doing that. I can also view the results after they're done. The only problem with that is that unless you have the pro version, which is like a year old, you can't see what students had those results. You can just see the classes as a whole, or the name is linked out. I also love that there's an online community where you can go, and it's a big Google form, and you can look and see what other quizzes are available to you. So you can always share or be the receiver. So we're gonna quickly go through Socrative since not many of you seem to have used it. Oops. So this is what, so you log in. This is your classroom name. So I just chose my school and then my classroom number. So students always know that's what they're gonna log in as for my classroom. And then as a teacher, you have 3 options. You can take an actual quiz, you can have a race, and then you can do an exit ticket. I don't like the exit tickets as a science teacher because I'm one of those who I need to see the work. And it's really hard for them. We don't have one-to-one devices, so they're on their phones typing in stuff, and it's just too hard. So we usually do a space race first. I have a quick little game. And you have different options. So you can search your quizzes, so I can reuse them each class, and then I get data each time. So if we're gonna name compounds, and then you can pick how many teams. So the students are gonna work on teams. They can be randomly assigned. You can auto-assign them, or they can choose. I always auto-assign because I don't want them picking who their partners are. You can choose what icon, and this is usually something where they're like, no, I want to be the unicorns. But the whole class is going to be that icon. So, and then that's new. So you can ask them, you can require names or not. You can shuffle the questions, show question feedback. So the question feedback is they'll know right away if the answer is right or wrong. I usually turn this off because if they're working next to each other, I don't want them to both choose that same answer if they know, or if one gets it wrong, the other one's gonna get it right. I want them to try on their own. And then you start, and then it's your groups, and then each color moves based on how many correct answers they get. So they're constantly, oh, magenta team, you're really not doing well, haha. Good fun, but it's collecting all those results, and then you can finish. So if there's something inappropriate happening, you can always finish. You can get the report via the chart, or you can go back to the launch screen. So with their quiz, you can do some of the similar things. They can get instant feedback. This is them on their own. They're taking a quiz, and this is where I get more of the live results. Open navigation, so they can change answers, or you can do teacher quiz. So I usually do instant feedback. I require names. Oops. And so as the students log in, their names populate here. You have an option of how far they've progressed through the questions or the score. It's up to you. I usually don't do score because I've used this in some of my lower level classes, and I've had students who've had a 0% throughout the whole entire quiz, and the test is the next day. So I don't want them to do that. But as you go through, if you see one of your questions has a lot of red, you can click on that question, and then you can see what your questions are. After it's done, it's going to have the same table. And you can go through the how did we do, and each question will get a percentage. So 100% answered ammonium sulfate, that's the wrong answer. So if they all get that wrong, obviously I have to reteach something. So there's a lot you could do. There's a lot to experiment with. I'll sum up some of my other results at the end.
I was gonna say, what I like to use this for is like you can turn a 5-question worksheet into something where the kids work through the problem totally on the worksheet, and all they do is enter A, B, C, or D on their computer, and then I'm